We're live. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I think we got a pretty we won't be sitting here too long tonight. I think this one's going to be more of a brief situation here. What I'm going to be going over is printing. I know we'd mentioned it a little bit last week, and I think it's a good thing to go through and go, if you're going to be doing some printing. As far as I'm concerned, when you a photograph really isn't a photograph until you can hold it in your hand, kind of. It's like, it's nice to be displayed on a computer screen, but I guess I'm old school enough to think that it'd be nice to have a copy in my hand. And so, as a matter of fact, if hey Scott, thanks for showing up, man. If you got hard copies in files, you've always got a copy of your photos. If something happens to the computer, or something happens somehow, you got hard copies. And someday when you're gone, those hard copies are going to be there, and there might be a good chance that your computer stuff might go away. Who knows? But now you might die, and they might take all your prints that you printed out your whole life and burn them in the burn pile. Who knows? I don't know. But I think you know what I mean. So, hey, Joe, let's do some printing, man. It's not hard to do. It's pretty easy. Not a lot to remember. So we're going to go through from the top to the bottom. So let me see. I think we've got enough people here. The people that are here right now are the ones that probably want this information the most. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Hopefully my Lightroom screen is being displayed, and I think it is. It's showing up over here on my other monitors. So this is a photo I took in the gorge at Rowena. This is just west of the Dalles, and Lyle is across the river from there. And this is the Klickitat River coming down through here. What kind of printer do you have, Scott? Do you have a larger format printer? You can do all of this stuff, especially for archival situations. You can print them out on your little desktop printer here. It's not until you start maybe selling larger prints, a lot of times locally, especially if you're going to be doing maybe an art show or something like that, and you want to print some of your photos out, then I would go for a larger format. But it'd take a while. It takes a few print sales to be able to afford a larger computer or a larger printer. Or sometimes, be honest with you, the one that I have, my large format over here, it's a Epson Stylus R2880. R2880. This computer is a hand-me-down from a friend of mine. Kenny Watson bought a brand new computer or printer. Why can't I say printer tonight? And asked me if I needed one, and I said I do. And so she gifted me a printer, and it works pretty good for me. So I haven't really had to reinvest in one. So yeah, you're watching on your TV. Oh, that makes me a TV star. I'm on the television. That's pretty cool. Yeah, must have Roku or something, maybe. Yeah, Scott, 8x10. I actually do my normal. What's the? Hold on a second. My print size in inches. Let me see here. Image size. Inches. So well, this is an older one too. Let me get one of my D850 photos in here. One of my larger. Let's see, something maybe like that's 6. Let's go back here. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. I can't hardly believe. I think this is my 14th photo or 14th video. 13 by 19. Yeah, then you'll have to go with a larger printer. And that's a handy size. Something else that you need to consider is the crop ratio for some of your photographs, because if you want to do standard, the gem is in the house. Just yeah, the 2880. It's an older one, so I don't think they sell it anymore. But something to keep in mind when you're printing your photos is that if you are able to crop at a 4x5 or 8x10 ratio, you can buy mats and frames in the craft store that are of that crop ratio. The one that we have, the ones that we have in our that come out of our camera aren't they aren't that way. So let me see here. Let me show you where are we at. Let me get my crop tool up here. I go to my ratio up here and go to 4x5 or 8x10 landscape, and you kind of see how much you lose on either side. So if you're able to do an 8x10 or a 5x4 crop, then hey Bonnie, you got me on TV too. Awesome. So if you go with a 4x5 crop, you can get standard mats, drop-in mats and frames. Otherwise, if you do the standard crop ratio that it comes with, then you're going to have to have a mat cut or buy a mat cutter and try to cut your own mats, which I've done, and I will do every now and then according to what I need. But sometimes it just pays to send it to the frame shop maybe and have it done. There's nothing wrong at all with printing your own, going down, buying some mat board and cutting your own mat board and fitting it into the same size frame. So hello, Robert. Thank you. This photo that is from the Columbia River Gorge. Here, what I want to do is this. I want to switch over to this chair. Okay. All right, because I didn't realize that I was talking without. Okay. All right. Now, if you look on the screen now, you can see how much you lose on either side if you're going by 5x4 in relation to the crop ratio that comes from your camera. So, hi, Tom. It's good to see you, buddy. Right on. I'm glad you're here. We're getting into kind of talking about crop ratios right now, and how a 5x4 crop or an 8x10 crop, you can get a standard frame size for your mats and your frames, but you have to lose a little bit of each side. So many times I will just go and get have some mats. If you're doing more mats, in other words, if you're making a display somewhere, or if you're going to be doing a art sale where you're going to be selling prints, then a lot of times it will pay to at least have your mats cut down at the craft store or something. But if you're framing photos, make sure that the amount that you're going to be selling it for includes quality matting and framing. So, but like I said, get a mat cutter. It's kind of fun until you get tired of it and start getting them done. So 8x10 is pretty close, but if you look on my screen here, Scott, let me click here. If you look on my screen here, you can see on either, hopefully you can see on either side how much you're going to be missing from a standard crop to an 8x10 or 5x4. Now, I'm not sure if yours has a different crop ratio than mine, but ultimately the 5x4 cuts it off. And it just seems too square to me. I like, if you're shooting for a photograph to be square, that's great. But if you're taking the photograph and having to come back and then crop it square, a lot of times you're not getting everything into the frame that you want. So if I'm shooting square, like I used to back in the olden days, used to use 120 film when I first started, and I had a little brownie Hawkeyes, one of them little, I got one back here if you guys want to see it. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. My first camera. This isn't actually the camera. I think I broke it or something like that. But this is the first camera that I ever used when I was my mom and dad bought me this camera. I think I was in first grade. I was just a young kid, a little young guy. I got film in this. I got to shoot this film. Sometimes I put film in my cameras and forget to take the pictures. So either that or I'll go out and take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 and then put it on the shelf and forget that I got film in there. So anyhow, the 120 film that I would shoot through that camera was square, and that's just what I got used to. But that could be why I like the wider format, the modern crop ratio of the digital camera. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble. Let's move on. I got my ale of ginger. Okay, I'm going to downsize this. I'm going to downsize this. We're going to get back into Lightroom, which means I need to refresh my screen again here. Window, Lightroom, share, boom. Pretty good, getting pretty good at this, aren't I? All right. Like I said before, this photograph was taken in the gorge at Rowena, just west of the Dalles, in between the Dalles and Hood River, if you've never been out there and done that, the gorge thing, the wildflowers in the gorge. So, okay, let's start from the beginning. We have a photograph that we want to print, and you'll notice up here on the right-hand side, we have a print module. So I click on that, and this gives us a few mystical check boxes that we have to check and we have to look at. And what I usually do is I come down to the left-hand side and hit page setup, and you get this box that comes up. Now, if you got more than one printer, it's going to show you that you got more than one printer up here. Right now, my Epson isn't showing up because it's I think it's unplugged. But anyhow, what we're going to use tonight is my little Canon G6000. And if you guys have if you're at your desktop, and if you have a printer, bring up Lightroom and you can kind of follow along with me if you want to. All right, so we got a print setup menu up here. We want to make sure that it's on the right printer. We want to come down here to the letter size, and I got 8.5 11 by 11 in there, landscape. And this is just if you have a back feed for your paper, or if you have a cassette that sits down underneath it, you have your paper into, you can select where it pulls the paper from. So, all right, let's go up here to our properties and let's roam through here and see what we have to choose from. Right now, we're doing photo printing. I'm not doing borderless printing because it may crop the edges off. Not only that, but if you're doing a matte and frame situation, you're probably going to want a white border around to um, be able to have the have a place. What I'm trying to say is have a place to adhere the photo to the back of the matte with. Okay, so as if if you're printing all the way to the edge, then your photo is going to be over the edge of the mat too far. Okay. Okay. So then we come down to here, and this is where we choose our paper. All right. I'm going to go just use matte photo paper, or excuse me, glossy photo paper. Yeah. Let me get my printer ready. As a matter of fact. Woo. All right. Let me get this. Let me get this going here. I'm going to be feeding from the back, so I got to get some paper in there. All right. Should have had this ready before I started. I got to get my photo paper out and put some in my printer here. Yeah, there we go. I think we're ready now. All right. Let me get that over there. I got my USB cord in the way. All kinds of stuff happening here. All right. I'm ready. Okay. Should have done that before I started, but I apologize. All right. We're doing photo printing. This is on the quick setup menu. Photo printing. I'm not doing borderless. Glossy photo paper. I'm just going to hit glossy photo paper down here. Over here, I'm going to use my 8.5 by 11 paper. All right, my paper source, that has to do with your printer. So let's go up here to our main menu. It's glossy photo paper is already selected. Paper source, we want to hit high. I just usually hit auto on the color intensity. So then I come down to page setup, make sure that we're set up the way we need to be on a landscape. Right now I'm printing landscape. I'm hitting normal size. This doesn't matter with what we're doing because we're printing at our size. So we're not doing stapling at all. So, all right. If we go over here to maintenance, that has nothing to do with what we're doing. When we get done with that, we hit OK. OK. All right. Let me go over here to the right side a little bit here. And a lot of this stuff, we're just going to leave alone. We're not doing like a picture package. This is for if you're doing maybe senior portraits and you're wanting a bunch of little pictures on one page or something like that. So I'm not messing with that. I'm going to close that down. I'm not going to zoom to fit or rotate or anything like that. So I'm closing that one down. My layout, I want just standard margins. And this is for the margins around for the page. So we're not dealing with any of that right now. The guides are just the little black marks on here, so you know where everything is. No, the page, we're not messing with that, but we're going to be down here in the print job module. Okay. So what I want to do is I keep checking the messages over here if you're wondering what I'm doing. Print resolution is pretty much going to be set by the photograph itself because we haven't changed that. So our print sharpening, we're going to leave that alone. Might set it on low or uncheck it, because we usually sharpen in post processing, so we don't really need it to sharpen for our printing. But if for some reason you're not doing printing in your workflow, your processing workflow, you can click on that and choose some of these choices here: low, standard, or high. I'm clicking it off because I don't want it to mess with my sharpening. All right, now what we're doing is we're getting down to our color management area, and down here is where we choose our paper. So I've already got this photo paper, glossy photo paper in there. But your other IC profiles, if you click on, here, let me turn this off. If you click on other right here, it'll bring up a whole list of all your ICC profiles, okay? Your ICC profile, pardon me. What that is your each kind of paper has a different kind of composition on how it's made. Some is more absorbent, some has more clay elements in it, and some is really super glossy, whatever, right? So each one has its own color profile, its ICC profile that it uses. So you can go to the printer. Matter of fact, let's go here. Went over here to Bay Photo. Let me refresh my screen again. I'm learning that I have to do that. Window, Bay Lab, here. I wish it would just do it automatically, but whatever. All right, now you see I'm at Bay Photo. Bay Photo does good if you're just doing prints. If you aren't doing super large installations and stuff like that, and you're just selling mostly framed photos for a home, then Bay Photo does a really good job. So Bay Photo has ICC profiles on their website. Okay, so you can go and let me see here. You can go and hunt for them here. Let me look. Let me get this. Where's their search deal? Here we go. ICC, Bay Labs ICC profiles. Okay. Now, this should give you all of the profiles down here, metal prints, and these are for Bay Photo. I mean, these might be close to other printers' profiles, but another printer may be using a different kind of paper, so you can always go to your printer or ask the printer for an ICC profile. I mean, well, it used to be even if you go to Costco to have some prints made, you can get the ICC profiles and install them. Okay. All right. What I did, let me go back a little bit here, and I went to choose profiles, and here you can choose the different profiles. Like I downloaded one from Bay Photo, and it's called Acrylic Vivid. And of course, we're not doing acrylic, but I did it to experiment, and there it is. So we've got all kinds of different profiles here, but let me do this. We're going to go to the Bay Photo website again, and let me do this. Let me do the glossy photo print ICC profile. If you click on it, it'll download. If you're on a Mac, you should be able to see your downloads in your Finder. If you're on a Windows machine, you can click up here. Usually, I think this may be browser dependent too. You go up here and click on it, and you can see your downloads. And so, Windows, it's pretty easy because all you got to do is just double click on it and it'll install it, or right click and hit install. Okay. Now, it's a little bit different if you're on a Mac because you got to do it kind of manually. Okay. On a Mac, as a matter of fact, if I go to Bay Photo and go up here, it tells you how to install them. On a Macintosh, you go to your hard drive, you go to Library, Color Sync, and Profiles. And then I believe you can drag and drop it into that folder. Okay. So once it's into your folder, you can come up here and install it. Once you've installed it, you should be able to go to print job, profile, other, and then click on the one you want. Okay, so I'm leaving photo paper glossy in, and I'm clicking on Bay Photo acrylic vivid, and I'm going to hit OK. Now if you look, it'll be in there now. Okay, so let's just go ahead and choose that. Okay, and then we'll go down here, and I think everything else is going to be just the same. Okay, all right, now you are ready to print. You can hit print down here, and it'll just automatically go to print. If for some reason you want to hit make sure that you're all set on your page setup, hit page setup here first, and then make sure you're all set up, and then hit print. Okay, all right. Damon, my brother. Well, he used to say, brother from another mother. Damon's my buddy from high school. We've known each other forever. He knows me just as good as practically anybody in my life. I love the guy. He's one of my best friends. As a matter of fact, he's not a photographer like we are. He just shows up to just because he's bored or something, I guess. I don't know. I'm just glad he shows up. All right, my printer's waking up here, so it might take a minute or two to get this thing going. It's got to do a head cleaning procedure because I've had it turned off. Okay. All right, here it goes. White screen, son of a biscuit. Let me see what I got going here, Scott. Thanks for telling me. Window, here we go. All right. All right, so basically what I did is I made sure that my print setup settings are good. Went down here to the right side. My face is probably covering up that right side. So if you go down here to the right side, it says print. Still covering it up. I wonder if I can move me out of the way at all. Should be able to move me out of the way, but somehow it's not working that way. So. But if you're in Lightroom, you can see it all the way down at the lower right-hand side. So I wonder how in the world I got a white screen, Scott, of all things. So you guys have any questions about that? I'll go over it one more time because we still got time. And something else too is when you're printing at a really high resolution, your printer is going to take a little longer to do. So I want you guys to know how much I appreciate being here. It really means a lot to me. It encourages me, and I've tried to do YouTube videos in the past, and I kind of got a little discouraged with it because I just expected a little bit too much from them and really hadn't sat down and convinced myself to do it over the long term. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And not only that, but after doing workshops for so many years now, I've been doing them since I think 2013. So that's 13 years or something like that. So through all that time, I've just been able to I can't even remember what I was going to say. I was thinking about my printing here, so remind me what I was doing. I can't remember what I was saying. I hate that's embarrassing, but kind of get that way when you start to get old like me. It's hard for me to believe, but I turned 68 this year. Can you guys see do I have to refresh this again? Hold on a second. Oh yeah, you can see. You're looking at my Lightroom. You can see the histogram up here on the right-hand side. that's another element of printing that I always like to keep an eye on, because um, it will tell you if you're light or dark, and each photo is going to be kind of just different. So, Tom, I'm right behind you, buddy, and Scott's right behind me. Well, I hope I'm doing as well as I am, or you are, when I'm your age, Tom. Whoops. There we go. Keep going here, you. Keep going. All right. All right. We have a picture. Whoops. There we go. Everything turned out good. It's not it's not really showing up real well on my little web camera here, but there we go. 76. Right on. Well, I'll tell you something, Tom, you're doing great. There was a few times when I had a hard time keeping up with you when we were out in the field, I'll be honest with you. Yeah. You keep yourself in good condition, you're better off when you get older. You know, I'm fortunate that I've been in good condition most of my time, most of my life. Joe, you are a baby, you big baby. How old are you, Joe? All right, I want to go through this again. How do I decide on the print medium? That's a good question. Okay. Um, my a lot of times it depends on where the photo is going to be placed in the room and how much reflection, because you got to remember these, especially, oh, you're only 64, huh? Okay. I knew you were close, though. You're not as young as you want to make yourself out to be, old guy. So, to answer your question, Scott, a lot of times I'll decide where in the room that it's going to be placed, and a lot of times, depending on the client of mine, I'll discuss that with them as well too, because if there's a lot of light coming in on a glossy, especially a metal print, if you have a glossy metal print, then you're going to have a lot of reflection on it. Yeah, you're at that age, Joe. I love it. So the satin might be a little bit better choice, but the colors aren't quite as rich. So a gloss and matte, you kind of have to take it according to maybe the installation location, what a client prefers. Yeah, I love doing canvases. And the reason I love doing canvases is because they don't reflect like the metal prints do. Put a metal print in, the glossy looks the best, but it reflects a lot of stuff, a lot of light and stuff, you know. And even if you're trying to illuminate it, you know, with some lights, um, that in itself will kind of create a reflection. And so glossy sometimes is not practical for where you're going to put it. So like I said, the big canvases, I love putting those in just because the color is rich on them and they don't have that reflection on the outside. So, all right. I was never a fan of the canvas until I did some larger installations. The smaller canvases, I'm not a huge fan of, but man, I really like the big ones. You know, I've done a lot of like 5 foot wide canvases, and they're really cool. I think they're really cool. So, you know, if you're dealing with a client and you're doing an installation in their home, yeah, you're right, Scott. And it depends on the surface finish. So, if you're doing an installation for a client, especially in their home, I try to ask them if I can go and find out where they want to install the photo, kind of look at the room, and then I'll make recommendations. And a lot of times nowadays, this is something that I've done a couple times, but haven't really gotten into it, is doing virtual installations. So you can go through and take a picture of their home, and where they want the photo, you can go in and Photoshop it into that area. So I've done that a couple different times, and it works out pretty good. And that gives the client a little bit of an idea what it looks like. Plus, you get to see where it's going to be installed. And on my bigger photographs, when I'm selling for somebody's home, I'll go and I'll install the photo for them too. So, one of these days, Joe, when we're together, if you come up here and go shooting with me Sunday, especially if it's during the week, during working hours, I can take you down to my dentist's office and show you some big canvases, because my dentist is my best client that I've ever had. He's bought a lot of photos from me. So he's decorated his office down here with some of the large 5-foot canvases. So we can walk in and take a look at those. And I think you'll like them. So, all right, let's get back to this and let's photograph another one, okay? Yeah, we'll communicate. Right on. Yeah, we'll communicate. All right, let's choose another one. Let's choose another one. This is in our print file folder. Let's choose a different one. Print files. Let's choose one in here and let's pull it into Lightroom. Let's just choose any one. Let's choose this one. All right, so let's go to library. Let's pull this panel out here and go to import. We'll go to print files on E drive. Print files. These are the ones I haven't installed those yet. What do I have going on here? Okay. Let's import all of these. What the heck? All right. Let's get these things in here. All right. Let's take a look at what we have. Let's print another one. Let's print this one. Why wouldn't we, right? All right. I got to make sure that's showing up over here. Right on. It's showing up. All right. This is a photograph that was taken in the Columbia River Gorge. And I'm trying to remember. It seems to me that I may have. I can't remember. I know I've showed this in one of my live videos, but this is Metlaco Falls, and the little ledge that we used to stand on that you could see around and down through Eagle Creek to this waterfall has fallen down into the canyon below. So you really can't get this shot anymore, unfortunately. It'd be kind of, in a way, it'd be kind of cool if they put a platform there that you could use to look down there, in a way, but I don't know. I don't know if I like developing these trails that much, but a lot of cases, developing the trail and doing railings and platforms and stuff is good for the location. But let me get back to printing, okay? So we already have this one processed, and so I'm going to hit print on the upper right hand side. Now this one here is a vertical photo. And so, yeah, this is one of my favorite photos, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go to the print module. I'm going to go here to left-hand side and hit page setup. It's going to bring our dialog box up, and it didn't show up. So let me refresh the screen again. There we go. Share. Because I want this to show up. It's not showing up. Why wouldn't it show up? Let me think. Why won't that show up? It's not showing the dialog box. The print setup box. Why in the world wouldn't it? Let me see. Come on, YouTube, work for me here. Window. Share. It's just not showing up. What if I try sharing this screen over here? Well, this is frustrating. Woo! That's pretty cool. All right. That's a little frustrating, but I guess you're going to have to trust that I have a little dialog box up here. I got to figure out how to prevent that from happening, because I want you guys to see what we're doing here. Let me see here. That's not showing up either. So it won't show the dialog boxes for some reason on here. Now I'm really pissed. All right. Okay. Okay, so now you can see my arrows going down to page set. If you guys are following along with me, or go back and watch this afterwards, you'll see this box that comes up. Okay, now that I know that it's not showing up here, I'm going to have to describe it to you. Okay, hit page setup, you get a box. It says print setup at the top of the box. It has a little drop down that's called name, and it's the name of your printer. So you choose your printer from that drop down. And then if you look down below, it has a box that says paper, and it has paper size, and it's got a whole bunch of sizes in there. We're doing 8.5 by 11. I'm going to automatically select the source so that my computer or my printer does that. Down here, I'm going to, at the orientation in the corner, it says portrait. We're going to click on portrait. I'm going to come up to the top and it says properties. I'm going to click that and another box comes up. Man, I'm upset that you guys can't see this. All right, so there's a tab that says quick setup. Come down and it says commonly used settings. I just click on photo printing. As I work my way down, it says additional features, and there's borderless printing, grayscale printing, color intensity, manual adjustment, blah, blah, blah. I just click all those off. Just below that, it says media type. That's your type of paper. We're going to hit glossy photo paper right now. To the right of that, it says printer paper size. Drop that down and hit the size of your paper. In this particular case, I'm hitting 8.5 by 11 or 22 by 28 centimeters. Paper source automatically selected. The next thing I do is I go back up to the top, and there's another tab that says main. You click on main, it says media type. Make sure it says glossy photo paper. But down below that, it says print quality, hit high. And then hit color intensity is below that. Just click, keep it on auto. All right, and then go back up to the top again, and the next tab says page setup. Okay. We want to just go through and make sure this is all set right. The layout is normal size. It's not borderless or anything. I'm going to click off automatically reduce large document, blah, blah, blah. And I am ready to go. So now that I've got those three tabs, the maintenance tab is when you're working on maintaining your printer. Okay. So we did the quick setup tab, the main tab, and the page setup tab, and we were done with that. We hit OK. And then we're done with that. Everything in this print setup dialog box that we clicked on down here that it won't show you is set. We hit OK. All right, so now we're all set. The page is now showing that it's in a portrait or vertical format. We go to the right side, and you guys can see this over here at least, so that's good. The only tabs over here that I'm really concerned with changing is down at the bottom where it says print job. Okay. From there, I want to make sure that the resolution, just click on the print resolution. That's the resolution of the picture. That's the resolution that the picture is made. There's another one down here. It says print sharpening. I turn that off because I do sharpening on my own. Okay. All right. So now we're down in color management right here. I want to click this profile box, and it's not showing you the box. So if you click on this where it says Bay Photo Acrylic Vivid, you click on that, there's a box there that it won't show you. I wonder if there's something I can do between now and next week to be able to show you guys these drop downs. The drop down or the window that pops up says managed by printer, or it gives you your ICC profiles that you've chosen. If for some reason your paper's not there, hit other. And another box pops up. It's got all of the paper ICC profiles that you have installed in your computer. Even says up top, choose profiles. Okay, so click the box next to the color profile, and then hit OK. And if you look over here, it will show the ones that, and I chose two. I chose the Bay Photo one we just did, and I did this photo paper glossy from earlier. Okay. All right. When we're done with that, we're ready to print. Guys, ask me any questions, and maybe we can do, maybe Zoom is different or something. We can do a Zoom session someday on printing. So when we have all of those things set, we come down here and hit print. Okay. If you hit printer, it's going to come up with this same dialog box here to make sure your settings are all done. Hit OK. So we want to hit print, and off it goes. So then we sit here, we wait for it to print. Okay. I'm sorely disappointed that you guys can't see these drop down boxes, but play this video back when you're at your Lightroom. When you're on Lightroom, you should be able to follow my instruction, click those boxes, they'll pop up, and then just follow my verbal instruction and go through it. And if you guys have any questions or anything, I say this every week, reach out to me. I'm always here to help. If I get a little overloaded, sometimes I get a little behind. Don't feel bad about reaching out and going, hey man, I texted you a few days ago and you haven't replied yet. And I'll go, oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry. And then we'll get together and I'll answer your question. But I want you to know that I'm always here. I really appreciate you guys doing these videos too with me. So now we wait for the printer to print. I hope this guy has answered some questions that you've had about printing. So if you want, I can go back over the installing the ICC profile again if you want, but I'm kind of disappointed that the pop-up box doesn't show. So then I went through that earlier. You know, you go to Bay Photo's website or whoever's doing your printing for you, they usually have the ICC profiles. You download it and you install it. So Windows is easy. You just double click on it, and Macs, they're easy too. You just got to go into your Finder and you got to go to, was it your hard drive, library, color sync and profiles. And inside that profile folder, you should be able to drag and drop the ICC profile from your downloads into that folder, and it will show up. Or you have to restart Lightroom for it to show up. So restart Lightroom, come back up and go to your profiles over here, and it will show up in your drop down. Okay. All right. I need some ideas for next week. You guys have any ideas for what I should do or something like that? Let me know, and we'll do it. If you have any questions at all, let me know about anything that I do, because I tell people I don't have any secrets. Or maybe a couple. Maybe a couple secrets, but nah, my life has been pretty much an open book. Yeah, I haven't been too deceitful in my life. I've just been trying my best to live a good and productive, happy life, affect those around me the best I can. All right, we're almost done here with our print. So, oh, Vonnie, you're welcome. What's 'twas ever thus, Joe or Scott? Oh, Scott was asking me that. The meaning of life. Yeah, 'twas ever thus. You find that out, you let me know, okay? There we go. We printed our picture out. Might be showing up a little different on this webcam that I got here, but you can see the reflection even on this paper. If you look at it, you can see it on there. So, yeah. So we printed two photos tonight. Boy, that turns out beautiful. I just love the light that we had that morning. So, all right. Well, I'll tell you something, guys. I think I've done everything. The only disappointment that I have tonight is that you were able to see the drop downs. But honest, if you go into Lightroom and click the buttons that I showed you, you'll see the box. So, all right. All right. We got done in less than an hour tonight. So I want you guys to let you guys know that I really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing more videos instead of the live videos that are going to be a little bit more refined and not so chaotic. So, yeah, and drink grog from their skulls or something. You're a Viking, Joe. I didn't know that. All right, so just let me know. Reach out if you guys have any questions at all. I'm going to be doing more, like I said, I'm going to be doing more videos that are just more refined videos and different subjects and stuff. And these live videos have given me some ammunition for that. So, oh, Conan. I need to watch that movie again, Joe. It's been a long time. So, yeah. So reach out to me. I've got my YouTube channel you guys have already found, and my Instagram if you haven't followed me there. And you're welcome, Scott. I set up a Patreon page, and I'm getting that rolling. I probably should have started that a long time ago, but you can find me on Patreon if you wanted to support me over there. But I have a free level, and at this point, what I'm doing mostly for the folks that are watching my Patreon channel for free is I'm dragging over my live videos over to Patreon. So probably no reason for you guys to go over there unless you want to wait for me to put some more stuff that's just exclusive to Patreon, which I plan on doing. So I've got a new video camera I'm going to be taking out. It's going to be a little easier to use than my phone, I think. And so I'll be doing a little bit more filming out in the field. So I'll be able to show you guys how I set up these shots and how I take the photos before I bring them into Lightroom. So that way you'll see the whole workflow all the way from the beginning, setting up the tripod all the way through. Actually, before I set up my tripod, where I'm scouting and trying to find the proper composition, high, low, left, right, left, wherever I find where I feel is the best spot for the tripod. and then I'll work through everything that I do until I take the photo or after they take the photo. So I guess I'm trying to say I'm going to show my whole workflow from start to beginning. So pretty excited about it. I just got to get my butt out there. Um, on a personal note, I'm still installing my septic tank outside. So when that project gets done and I get everything up and running here in the house, and fall gets here, because right now it's summertime and I don't do so good in the summertime. I'm better when the forests are wet and lush in the springtime or in the fall than I am in the summertime. Things are just too dry. The creeks aren't running as good, stuff like that. So summertime's the time for me to get things done so I can have fun in the fall and winter and the spring. So Scott, yeah, let's go out again, man. All right. You just get a hold of me and let me know when you want to go out. Okay. So well, some of the leaves are starting to turn. Actually, I'm noticing the vine maples. The vine maples are always anxious. Inside the forest, they turn yellow, and then if you're up on an open spot, a scree slope or something like that, they really love growing up at a higher altitude in open areas. And if you get them up high where they get a lot of sunshine, they turn a really bright red and yellow. So I like to be able to get the vine maples. Vine maples are my favorite ones. So yeah. Oh yeah, just as a side note, Darlene and I drove over Highway 35 to just see what's going on with the forest fire over here, the grasshopper fire. And we were kind of surprised in a way, and I guess we probably shouldn't have been that surprised, but um, the fire seemed to be more under the trees and growing through the trees. There's some areas where it crowned and they're like fingers of burnt trees, but they're in between live trees. So it's kind of an odd patchwork of areas. I went up there to see the fire and I expected everything to be just completely devastated. And it may be that way in certain areas that I didn't see, that Darlene and I didn't see, but I was kind of relieved to see that maybe certain areas are may benefit from a fire. I'm always trying to look at the bright side of some of this stuff. And thankfully, our firefighters are out there doing the right thing. And so I can't wait to be able to go back over those roads between Mount Hood and Dufur, Ty Valley, and those areas over where the old Barlow Trail used to go, and see some of the areas that have burned over there. Because there's some areas that I know I'm just going to be heartbroken because I know that these were just so beautiful and so pristine and areas that I've really loved. And I know they're just going to be completely affected by the fires. So in a way, I'm kind of anxious to get out and maybe take pictures of the forests where the fires have been. You know, I kind of did that out in the gorge a little bit after the Eagle Creek fire, and um, photographs are different, but you can make it dramatic, and you can still give it a story to tell and stuff. So I'm just trying to look on the bright side of it. You know, it's kind of a shitty situation. Nobody likes forest fires, but yeah. You know, I'm a bit of a local historian, and I've got a website. It's called mounthoodhistory.com. And so if you Google Mount Hood history or just put in MOUNT, mounthoodhistory.com, you'll see a lot of stories that I've written about our area up here, a lot of old photographs and stuff. And I've taken some time to write about some of the forest fires that have happened around here. In like 1910, there was a terrible forest fire that came through. And in the fall, the native people would come up, and they still go out and pick huckleberries every year. And they would come up to the mountain and have encampments and settlements up here during the summertime, and they would hunt and fish. And the women would prepare everything. They would actually do a lot of the fishing and stuff where the men were going out and they were hunting elk and stuff and bringing it back. They had just this whole situation up here around Mount Hood. And in 1910, a terrible fire came through and it trapped some natives up on top of Huckleberry Mountain, and they actually died during the fire. So there's been some very tragic and devastating fires in this area in the past. It's just that we just seem to think that it's something new. I mean, they're burning really, really bad. I got to admit that, but they've been here forever. I think before fire suppression, these fires used to go and go until fall came, and then they would just get, finally the rain would come and put them out. But so, and the Yakult burn, that was massive. I can't remember the year of that. And the Tillamook burn down on the coast, that burned 3 different times. So I'm just hoping that that it's not as bad as I predict it's going to be. And another fire that's bad is the one that's over in the Ochocos too, because there's some beautiful stands of ponderosa pine that I just love to photograph over there, and I'm hoping that they're going to be unaffected by this stuff. So anyway, so anyhow, so that's that for that. If you guys want, I can do one-on-ones with you guys. I do 1 hour sessions or 2 hour sessions, but usually 1 hour usually gets it done. I don't charge too much for that, and do private workshops. If you want to spend one-on-one with me out in the field, we can arrange for that to happen. And just reach out to me if you need anything. I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to cut this off. I love you guys. I appreciate you showing up, and tune in next week. We'll be doing it again next week. All right. And same time, same channel. If you have any ideas the next couple of days, reach out to me and drop it in my ear. Maybe we can deal with it next Sunday. Okay. All right, guys. Again, here I go. Take good care. Reach out to me if you need anything. I'm here for you. Okay. Ciao. Bye. Ciao. Joe.